Live but recorded from the BBR studios. We are line locked, where we talk about racing and just a little bit of bullshit. Yeah. What do you think about that?
I like bullshit.
I'm Chris, and this is
Corey,
and we got a lot in store for you today.
Got a real special guest. But first of all, I'm here. Are you here?
Shit, I'm here, man. I'm here.
Right. What about our 3 watchers? They here?
It may be up to 4 now.
Ooh, I don't know. We'll see. All right, so we got a special guest coming on here in just a couple minutes after we get done with the beginning of our news program here. Jaxon Messamore.
Jaxon the Machine Messamore.
And we're even going to hear his origin story. So that's going to be fun.
His origin?
Origin story.
All right.
Yeah.
Origin.
It's every good hero or villain has a.
I thought you said
story.
orange, like he likes oranges, or
maybe.
I don't know. All right.
So one thing before we get started, we have Christmas ornaments. We want to give them to you for free. You just need to email us at linelockedpodcast@gmail.com. Send us your address. We'll send these out. You got a couple more weeks because we're sending them out the first week or the end of the first week of December. So make sure that you get that to us so we can send them out. We got a nice full list, and we got plenty of them to go out. So if you want one, they're free.
Absolutely free.
Give us your address so we can stalk you.
And you're not going to be on a mailing list, so don't think we're trying to get your addresses for anything creepy or anything.
No, we'll delete them right afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we will. I don't know. Google probably holds on to that shit, as far as I'm aware. But we won't look at it again. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about. So we were at the NHRA banquet that last weekend, and I noticed a bunch of people walking down the hallway with toasters.
Oh, yes. It's just like every other person
had a toaster in their hand. And we're like, what is going on here? Like, oh, that's how they trap you. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, if you go over here and gamble this amount of money, you get a toaster. I was like, this is like an adult Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
It absolutely, it kept, every little thread kept getting further and further into it. So later I was at the restaurant and somebody was paying with their points that they they incurred by losing money. So I'm assuming for like every $100 you lose, you get $1 in points. So they're just over here eating with that money. It's like an adult Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
Is it not?
Yeah, it's like you're getting the little tickets from the, you get a little ticket out of the machine and then you go change that in for like 20 tickets.
Yeah, and even Chuck E. Cheese went to the cards.
Oh, did they? I didn't even know.
So they don't. I mean, I don't think they even have tickets anymore. So it's literally like an adult Chuck E. Cheese. I just thought it was funny.
It's funny. When I went down to the casino earlier in the day, that line to get those toasters had to have been 500 people, and that's not an exaggeration. I mean, it was all the way around the casino.
No shit.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, it's like little Mario characters or something carrying little toasters around.
Everybody had a toaster. It was like Oprah was just giving them away down there. You get a toaster. All right.
Geez.
So news. I believe it's this one.
Oh.
I never did update it.
Oh, no.
So you get the 15-second intro.
15 seconds. So this is the news with the newscaster, Corey. Here we go. What's on the news today?
The news. So the NHRA champions were crowned.
Oh, yes, that's right.
So that happened, it would have been last week, I believe. I'm not sure exactly when this is coming out, maybe 2 weeks. They were crowned. We'll start with Pro Stock.
Do you have it all right this time?
I do, actually.
Okay.
I took the time to write it all down. So Pro Stock Bike was Gaige Herrera. First-time winner, first-time champion.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. And Eddie Krawiec was only 214 points behind, which sounds like a lot, but I learned in my little bit of research that every NHRA event you could possibly get up to 160 points.
Oh, so he may be only two races behind.
He could have very well been. So, but still, I mean, that's notable. Pro Stock, Erica Drive the Bitch Back, Enders, 6-time champion.
6th-time champion.
6th time.
Oh, my goodness.
And Greg Anderson was only 104 points behind, so technically one race. That was pretty cool. Funny car, Matt Hagon, 4-time champion, which is pretty awesome. Robert Hieght only came up 12 points shy. What we got going on there?
Go ahead. Go. Keep going.
All right. It's only 12 points shy. Mike Smith came in 31st, only 2,618 points behind. We mentioned him on the last one, so we figured we should mention him here. So, next time, buddy. So he was only 26 races behind, technically.
So 2,618 points behind is what you're saying?
Yes, the 31st.
That's the funny guy, right?
That's the funny guy. Mike, funny guy, funny car driver Smith.
In the funny car, yes, exactly.
All right, Doug Kalitta in Top Fuel. It is the nephew of Connie Kalitta. So we decided not to Google that and let the comments tell us, and it was the nephew of Connie Kalitta.
Yeah.
Steve Torrence was only 48 points behind in second.
All right.
All right.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, pretty cool. World Cup finals just happened as well 2 weeks ago, a week ago, depending on when this comes out. The first notable thing, I mean, we're not going to go through the winners. I'm only going to what was kind of cool that happened. Carl Brunet, yes, in his GM Ecotec-powered Pontiac GXP, and it's a 4-cylinder car, okay? He set the new 4-cylinder record with an incredible run of 5.82 seconds at 242 miles an hour in a 4-cylinder.
4 cylinders can do that?
4 cylinders.
Holy
Jesus
cow.
Christ. Right?
Jeez.
I can't believe it. That was...
So tell me again. So that what power adders are on that? So
I didn't go into that.
It's an Ecotec powered. So
yeah, I think that's just like that's the thing. That's like what would come in it. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's an Ecotec. I would assume it's got to be a turbo.
242 miles an hour
in the quarter. Yeah.
Jeez.
It's just insane. 4 cylinders.
Wow.
I mean, it's mind-boggling.
Did it weigh like 200 pounds?
Well, then I guess that's the benefit. You know, with the 4-cylinder, it's got to be lighter. I mean,
Is
I don't
it that
know.
much lighter though?
I don't know. It's just insane. There were some other notable records. Mark Benston Jr. of Delaware. He was racing an outlaw drag radial. He actually broke the record 4 times. He just kept getting better. So his first record breaker was on drag radial, was a 5.75 at 254. And then it just kept getting better after that. Even into eliminations, he just kept pushing a little harder. The next one was a 573 at 254, and then 571. And then he got to 569 at 254.66 miles an hour, which I thought was pretty cool too. Especially, continue to record break even into eliminations when you may have want to be a little more conservative. Because I watched that whole race, and it seemed like the further in eliminations they got, most people got slower because the track got a little looser.
Yeah.
But he went the opposite. He just kept going faster.
I can't imagine doing 200 miles an hour, let alone 250 something miles an hour.
Yeah.
But I mean, those guys got some big old
they got 'em.
there.
They got 'em.
Yeah, for sure.
So that is what I have for the news. You got anything interesting to say?
Well,
Give us a tow update.
Okay, my toe is they actually. It's turning more black now. the nail, not the toe itself.
Yeah. Okay.
So every time I walk on it, put pressure on it, I feel like this pinching sensation.
Okay.
I think the bone is actually digging into the skin from the inside.
Oh, you think it's broken?
I think it's broke. Yeah.
Did you not get a?
No,
X-ray?
I don't go to medical facilities.
You say you don't have good insurance or something?
No, I got great insurance.
Okay.
It's just a toe, man. It's just a flesh wound.
I mean, all they're gonna do for you is just splint it.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe you should splint it yourself.
No, we did.
Okay.
My paramedic girlfriend did for me.
I'll split it up. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess it's time for what I've been excited about the past several days since we got this thing lined up. We're about to talk to our good friend, I think at least 2-time champ. We'll find out of Pro Comp at the Nostalgia Drag Racing League.
Yes.
So let me give you a little ring. It's this one right here. This one. Oh, he's calling in. Oh, here we go. How you doing there, Jaxon?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Not too bad. I know that you won Pro Comp twice because we actually have we have your last year's driver's interview. Did you end up winning Pro Gas prior to that?
Yeah, I'm 3 in a row. I won it 21, 22, and this year 23.
In comp?
Yeah.
Okay, great, because that's going to lead into some future questions.
Yeah.
All right, but first, I thought that every villain or hero has to have an origin story. Okay, so I took the liberty of writing one for you, and
Perfect.
I just want to know your thoughts on it. Let me pull this up real quick.
Let's hear it.
All right, so here's the birth story of Jaxon. After your mother learned that she was with child, she traveled north on foot until she arrived at the staging lanes at the Indianapolis Lucas Oil Dragway. She was met there by 3 wise men named Don Perdome, Don Gartless, and John Force. She gave birth right there at the starting line, and legend has it She had a .007 reaction time. Swaddled in a Hoosier tire blanket, the three wise men presented gifts to you. Don Prudhomme gave you a MSD grid. Don Gartless gave you a delay box.
I know where this is going.
And John Force gave you a throttle stop.
There it is.
Is any of that true?
Yeah, every bit of it's true.
Every bit of it's true.
Yeah. Oh, that was good.
Yeah. Thank you. I took a lot of time, and I was giggling the whole time I was writing it out.
Yeah. That's a good way to start.
So, like I said, we've already got one interview with you, so we don't have to touch too terribly much on your beginnings. But let's just touch a little bit. I know that you did a lot of junior dragster stuff, so let's just a little bit into that.
Yeah, so started in, I think it was 06, maybe late 05 when I was 7 or 8, running 1290 in a hand-me-down car that we had in the family. And it was, I even think, Trevor ran it, my older brother. He ran it for a long time, and then I got to run it as the first car. And then we bought a new one. My grandparents bought me a new one, and when I was 10, I think, and then I ran that one for a while, and I got another new one when I turned 15. And we raced every weekend from basically March until October, or what's after October? November. And we traveled a lot. We did some local stuff. We didn't really focus on the local points championships. We focused more on traveling and just getting that experience of racing other people, not just the same 15 or 20 people every weekend. You're racing 100 or 150 different people once or twice a month, and I feel like that's what kind of set my career into motion.
Is the junior dragger stuff, is it set up on a sportsman tree?
Some of it is, some of it's index or pro tree. That's kind of my bread and butter is pro tree. You can ask any one of my friends, even Riley, if I tell her I'm going bracket racing, she's like, why? You suck at it.
It's tough to wait on those lights coming down.
Yeah, well, it's the same concept, because I just throw a delay box in it and and it's the same concept. You see a flash and you let go. It's the same concept as pro tree, but just something about it, I can't do it, and I'm just not consistent, and it's a waste of time.
I mean, if you delay box and crosstalk, so you can go off top bulb, it's very similar to pro tree racing, but there is a whole nother thing to it. It's one of those where you take your hand off the button and then you floor it. So it's a whole new procedure that you got to go back and forth, especially if you're running, indexing the next weekend. It'd probably be tough to go back and forth too.
Yeah, a few weeks ago we went to Hardinsburg, a local track, and I was double entered in a pro tree race and a super pro, or a full tree race and super pro. And you're talking about hard and confusing, but somehow I won both. I don't know. It was
So what were the two you had there?
It was pro tree index, which is dial what you want. It's pro tree, and then super pro.
Okay, and that's top bulb racing.
Yeah.
And then but I assume what you did was you just dialed your index for that, right? So you were always trying to go for one number. Is that...
well, no, it was dial. I could dial whatever I want in both classes.
Oh, could you?
So
okay.
Okay. So I think I was on like a 532 to a 535 all night.
Okay.
Wide open. So
right on.
It was tough.
All right, so you got through the junior dragster stuff, and I assume you kind of got out of that 18 years oldish, or did you 16?
No, I was actually 15. We went to Hardinsburg again, and they're an outlaw track, real local to us, and started running our dragster. My grandparents' dragster runs like 540s, and that was different. I was also running the junior the same day. I was running the junior and the dragster, and it's just totally different ball game. But from there, that was in 2015, I think, or 14. And then Pat gave me the call to run the Camaro, and it was it was the spring of 15, so just before the season, NDRL season of 15. And
how did you meet Pat and all that group of guys?
So my grandpa, the 57 that we have, he bought that and started running it, and Pat's just kind of a local guy that everybody goes to for blower advice, and we had a blower motor in it, and he came to the reunion one year and helped us, and I think he fell in love with it, and that's when Robbie got his car, and then Pat got the GTO. I think that's how that whole story worked out.
Okay.
But I know that's for sure that Pat came and helped us and just kind of gave us some advice.
When a man straps, what was it, 5 blowers on one vehicle, I think he probably knows about blowers. When he was tractor pulling days.
So full of knowledge, and
dude,
so
Pat's
lucky
great.
to be around him.
you haven't seen this episode yet because we just recorded it, but we talked about Pat and that whole family. They're just awesome group of guys.
He's done a lot for me. He helps me with my engine program, and just kind of tears it down for me and just kind of gives me ideas, and he builds my motors too sometimes, and he's a good guy. Anybody's lucky to know him.
So did you run the brief encounter car?
Yep.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I ran it in 15 and 16, and then in 17 I ran the family Monza, our family Monza, and then I ran the brief encounter again in 18 and 19.
Okay.
So 4 years. So
were you relatively successful with that program?
Yeah. So the first year first couple years we fought engine trouble, and I was a chubby kid, and we was fighting weight trouble and getting it to go 10-0. But there was in the heat it was struggling like at the reunion. So we put I think it was like a Mustang 2 front suspension, just like stock front suspension. So we cut it off. Yeah, we took 300 or 400 pounds out of it. And after that, it would run the number, and then we put a baby blower on it with a small block. And after that, we got some runner-ups. I think the first year, even with all the trouble, I got second or third in points. And then I got runner-up a few times. I didn't win my first race in it until my last race in it, which was when was that? That was 19. Yeah.
So it sounds like about 3 years of campaigning that car without getting a win.
Yeah, but we finished top 10 every year in the points. So we still had a lot of success with it, a lot of number one qualifiers.
Yeah.
But we just never could put it all together at one time. We spun cam bearings and main bearings, and I broke one motor, and I said, how bad was it? He said, well, I took the valve covers off of it. So
well, and that's interesting because a lot of guys won't really do well with qualifying because they use it more to figure out their swings, how what this does or this does. So they know on race day where the middle is, right?
Right.
So it's interesting that, other than you, because you've been really successful of getting number one qualifier several times, but, at least in our side of things, a lot of guys, the guy that wins wasn't the number one qualifier a lot of times.
Yeah.
Besides that, we don't bracket on gas and comp, so qualifying really doesn't mean a ton.
Yeah.
That was talked about in the driver's meeting, and that may be something that changes.
Laddering?
Laddering, yeah. So that may change things in the future.
To be honest with you, I don't want to be number one qualifier.
I heard that.
Number two.
I heard that because you don't want to be put on the bye.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't want the bye first round, and I also don't want to run an 8-0 car first round.
Yep.
I don't want to. My first time driving the finish line for the weekend, I don't want to be driving a car that's.
You want to be somebody similar to your speed.
And I've talked to Jason about it. Can I turn it down? And he said, let me get with the board. And he said, if we do it, it's going to be like you use the buy, but you're not going to be eligible for it again until you use the buy. So I would be fine with turning it down first round. The only reason I would want it is for the points. Yeah. Point number one.
The buy sucks unless you're the fastest car on the property.
Yeah.
Because then it doesn't matter. You're just getting a free run. And I tell you that for me at least, if I get past first round, I generally do pretty well. I guess maybe a confidence thing or. Maybe
first round's always the hardest.
Well, and maybe it really has something to do with the fact if you get past first round, you've already got your program set up. So maybe that's part of it. But it always
especially
seems,
at our races, when we're there for 2 or 3 days and we don't get a time run before first round at some of these races, first round's another time run basically.
Yep.
So
but with pro gas anyway, we tend to have to run our first round eliminations the same our last qualifier, because we have so many cars in the field. Right. But it is like for me, it's first round's the hardest to get past. Once that, I feel a lot more relaxed, and I generally do a little better. So, all right, awesome. So you got out of that in 2019, and then you started campaigning. What is it a 27T?
38 Chevy.
38 Chevy.
So I bought it in March of 20, right when COVID happened. And I didn't go racing until I went racing that first weekend. So I bought it on a Saturday at Indy. I met a guy from Michigan, and I took it to Bowling Green that Sunday. Did decent, first pass didn't turn the air bottle on, so it didn't shift, put it on the rev limiter right off the bat. Then second pass, I didn't let go of the trans brake until, like the third yellow, and it was just terrible. But anyway, we did okay. I think I lost third or fourth round, and then didn't race it again until September. And I finally found a track in Sykeston, Missouri, and we went there and had some success. And I think we ran a couple races with Indy Oil that year, at least one at St. Louis, and I know I won that one. And then over the winter of 21, we did a lot of upgrades. I took the air out of it. I put electric shifter in it. I put the grid in it. I put the delay box removable, easier, and rewired the whole car, just updated it. It needed some updates. And, it's just, that car has been so good to me. I've never had such success in a car, and, we've got plenty of them to choose from, and I always choose that one.
It seems like I think it'd probably go down a gravel road. Like, it's
it can, but sometimes, here lately, I switched to Hoosiers. I don't think that has anything to do with it, but I just think it likes the Mickeys better. It was like 35 at Louisville a month or so ago, and after 400 foot, it didn't like it. So I don't know what the difference is now, but
what I found out in between Mickeys and Hoosiers, for me anyway, was the Mickeys don't like a larger burnout. Like, that whole process can change what the tire wants later on down track.
Right.
So maybe you just did the same procedure for the Hoosiers that you did for Mickey, and that's why they weren't very upset.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think it has anything to do with the tires. I think it's just it's just changed, and the car is a little more free now, maybe, and the track prep may not have been that great, and but I really like the Hoosiers. They seem to be lasting a little longer, and the biggest thing is with those Mickeys, if I let them sit overnight, they'd be flat.
Yeah,
I'll let these Hoosiers sit all winter. They don't lose a quarter of a pound.
So Mickeys are terrible about leaking right around the Mickey Thompson, the logo on the side. What we did for ours to keep ours lasting, we just downed them in Dawn dish soap on the inside. Several rounds.
I did that too, but it just
still didn't.
The Mickeys just didn't work. No.
Well, we did that, and then the guy that mounted the tires, because I didn't have double bead locks at the time, I had him dunk take it beforehand, to find out that, we had a little leak around the MT again, and we put more dish soap, and it finally stuck. I could get about 3 weeks before I'd have to put air in the tire. But yeah, that is definitely a shortfall with the Mickey Thompsons. Yeah. I believe I'm probably going to go Hoosier. Actually, talking to Randall, I think I might go Goodyear Eagle, just because I want the smoky burnouts.
Hey, that car will do smoky burnouts. You just got to give it more wheel speed. It doesn't take as much wheel speed with the Goodyears, but the way I do burnouts in that car is I do a line lock burnout. He don't like doing it, but that's how I get my wheel speed up. So that's how I get it smoky. There's videos on YouTube of it at Bowling Green a few weeks ago, and it was plenty smoky. It don't need to be any more smoky. Yeah. But that's all he's there for. He just wants to have fun. But I'm there to win. I don't care if there's no smoke.
I like he told me, he said, man, I would just prefer if I could just do the burnout, back it up, and get out and let a driver take the wheel to go. I just want to do the burnout.
He would. Yeah, he would.
I think it's
it drives me up a wall sometimes. I love him to death, but he's just there to have fun.
Yeah.
I'm not there to have fun.
Yeah, and I talked to Sam Patrick and drivers. We did a regular drivers interview through Blood Brothers Racing.
Yeah.
And he actually spoke to my heart a little bit about maybe I got a drinking problem.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You got a racing problem.
Yeah, well, that's definitely true. But, he definitely instilled in the fact to me that I probably should take more consideration, especially the night before competition, to get my mind right.
Yeah. See, I don't think so. I hate to say this, but I'll just say it. The drunkest I've ever been at a racetrack was at Bristol the night before I won the Eastern Conference Final. The biggest. I literally did not go to bed till 4:00. When we was up at 7:00 taking pictures, it was bad. It was not a good time, but somehow I pulled through it. See, I don't know. Robbie's the same way. He won't drink the night before competition, and that's fine. Some people are like that, but I don't think, personally that has anything to do with it. Everybody's got their own opinion, but
well, I can tell you this, at least for me, the one time I've won something, I don't think I drank before. Did I drink?
No,
I didn't drink the night before. So maybe it has something to do with it. But again, my problem is the first round. It's just that first round. Maybe it's just because I built it up so much. I don't know, but
we don't race first round until typically 10 or 11. You
Yeah.
got plenty of time to sweat all of that out.
that's true.
But
So we're looking at our notes here. One thing we wanted to ask you is what kind of support you got from the Friels, which I think we've already kind of addressed. Friels family helps you with your motor combination and
yeah, so he just just everything. No matter what it is, if it's a truck or trailer problem or transmission or whatever it is, it don't matter. It can be in my Camry that I drive every day.
Yeah,
just the other day when we was at Hardinsburg, a guy had a roller lifter. I think no, what's the other one? Hydraulic lifter.
Yep.
And I didn't know how to set them, and so I was like, well, I'll just call Pat. He'll know. And he just just tighten it and then just do a couple things and it's good.
Yep.
Okay. He's just my first call for a lot of things, and me and Robbie talk every other day, and we've become good friends. And it's just the knowledge and that they have is just unbelievable.
So this last winter when I went to the bigger blower setup and I was fielding a blower that I found through Robbie. I said, hey, this is something I'm interested in getting. And he goes, it looks good. I said, cool. So I set up a time and whatnot to meet this guy because he was a couple hours away. And before I left, Robbie called me and said, hey, I got Pat next to me and he wants to talk to you.
Yeah.
So I guess Robbie showed him the blower and Pat wanted to call me and tell me what I was getting would probably work, but it was going to cause some issues later on. So he, that's awesome that he would thought enough to do that, because he could have easily let me learn that lesson myself. Because I'm sure he knows because he learned that lesson. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that's what he'll tell you. He said, I don't know everything, but I've got so much experience doing the wrong stuff. That's why I've got this much experience. That's why I can tell you not to do that or to do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
all right, cool. Let's see here. The next note we had was
it's about how he just flat out dominates pro comp.
Yeah. So we had a question. I don't think this is really going to go down a path that really makes any sense whatsoever, because we already have parity. But we were wondering if you think there would be something that we should do when there's a guy like you, and this is only to your detriment, that dominates a class, that 3-time winner. Not that it's. Do you think the question is this really? Do you think part of the reason that we have a lower turnout is because everybody knows you're there in comp? And they're like, well, if I can't win a championship, why would I even try to join this area? Because we already got the guy that's always going to win.
I've thought that, but I don't think so. But that's definitely been a thought in my mind. I hate, to even think that, but some people think like that. If I don't have a chance to show up, if I don't have a chance at winning, why even show up? But my answer is, anybody can beat me. I'm beatable. I'm not unbeatable. It's not like I'm perfect and dead on every time. There's runs that I'm teens and 20 and even 30s. You've got to be on your A game, and you've got to be able to drive the finish line, and you can't show up and be 50 and then 4 or 5 above and expect to win. In any class, not just pro comp. Or
Chris and I talked about that, because that was kind of when he wrote the question down, and that was kind of my thought process is, and honestly, we already have the parity. The parity is the index.
Yeah.
You just have to be a better driver. Totally get it. But also on the flip side of it is, it's like, if the guy's always going to win, or thought to always going to win, for one, I bet against you every time you race our teammate. So you're not everybody thinks you're going to win there, Jackson.
His time's coming.
Yeah, I know. He absolutely is. It absolutely is.
He owes me a few.
He does. But, it's just one of the thought processes we talked about. I was like, what could you do to make it so that maybe, somebody that's won 3 times in a row, they start with 100 points behind in the championship or something. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's needed. But it was just a concept we wanted to talk with you about. I can appreciate that that's a thought in your head, because I feel like you want the sport to grow. You want your own class to grow.
Yeah,
so I could appreciate you thinking about that prior to even having the question.
Yeah, I've talked to, there's a few people that's messaged me on Facebook, that's going to be joining comp next year, and my brother's building a car. And I want there to be 100 cars there every weekend. I want there to be enough cars where I don't have to race the same 3 or 4 people every race.
I would love to have enough in both of our classes to have an AB, so that we, I
don't want there to be 2 cars when I show up. I want to have fun. I want to race different people. I want to learn how different people race, and I want to, I still want to dominate. I want to be good, but I want to beat different people every time.
Yeah.
And I want people to beat me so I can grow as a driver.
Do you ever feel like you're the big fish in a small pond? Then I guess, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I guess anybody would. When you win the first 3 races and then 4 out of 5 races in comp, and anybody would. And I'm not trying to be cocky or anything, but it's just when you race the same people so much, you learn how they drive, and it also helps the fact that when you do win so much, people just kind of hand you the win.
Yeah, they intimidated.
At Mid-Martin this year, first and second round, both of those guys came up to me and said, we knew we was racing you. We was going to have to be good on the tree, and they both went red.
So I was about to say, how many red lights have you gotten because of that? Because they know they have to be a double up.
Yeah. You can't win being red. You can beat me being 20 or 30, but you can't beat me being red. So don't try to go up there and cut a great light, and be red. You can't beat me.
Actually, that's good. I'm gonna write that down here in just a second. So I got to figure out how to beat you.
I want to say something to you here, Jaxon. Okay. So I don't know if you've heard the news yet, but the number 2 points person is now on our team.
He hasn't, because the announcement is a podcast that's not just come out.
So Nick Hamilton could be your nemesis, but he's now on our team. And I want to say that the only reason why he was not first was because he didn't send in his registration.
I was going to bring that up in a minute. I wish he would have.
Because I think it would have pushed you to make that last race.
Absolutely, and it would have. I think he would have got 25 or 20 points there at Indy.
Yeah, 20, 25. It would have made it closer for sure.
Yeah, I think going into Bowling Green, I had like a 43-point lead. So that would have cut it down to 18. That's thin. And that's definitely not. And, I love a good championship battle. That first year I won, I lost first round. And luckily, I think it was Shane Razzler beat the guy second round. And if he would have won that round, he would have won the championship. And that sucks, just sitting on the starting line watching your guy in second just drive down there and hope he gets beat, But luckily he did. But we only ran like 4 races that year. We got a couple of them rained out. So
yeah. Well, you talking about year before?
21, the first year.
Okay.
Yeah, last year I had it locked up going into Bowling Green as well.
All right, let's do a little bit of let's get in your feelings a bit.
All right.
This year was kind of personal for you because something really important happened. What racetrack was that at?
That was at Norwalk. Yeah, I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. I just want to see if you knew what I was talking about.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot that happened this year, but important to me in life. That was at Norwalk.
So let us know what happened.
So Monday of that week, I was like, man, she's the one for me. It's time. I need to go buy a ring. At least look at them. Mm-hmm. So I went to the jewelry store and I was like, yeah, that's a nice one. And I got with her friends, and she's always told me that this one friend in particular that she knows what she wants. So I got with her and she's like, yeah, pick this one or this one. And so I got it on Monday, got it resized on Tuesday, and asked the permissions on Tuesday. And we left for Norwalk Wednesday. And I said, I'm not going to do it unless I win. If I don't win, I'll just push it to the next race or figure something else out. So we was going up through the weekend. I was just nervous all weekend, nerves just awful, because I knew it was in there and I wanted it to happen. And so we're going through the day and I'm driving really good. And then we get to the finals and I'm shot, my nerves are shot. And it's, I'm just like, one more win light, it's just that easy. Right? Just turn on a win light. And, we did it, and I was like, "Well, I guess I got to do it now." And
now, was there a contingency plan? Like, if you didn't win that last round, were you going to do it anyway?
No. I said if I don't win, if I don't get my car in the winner's circle, I ain't doing it. I'll come home and I'll figure out something else. I'll take her out to dinner or something else. But no, there really wasn't another plan. That was it.
All
win or no.
Winner. Riley's not getting married.
Yeah. We still may be dating if I didn't win that race,
Wow. That's wild.
So is there a date set now or?
No, but there's not really an official date, but we're kind of thinking December. She wants a December of next year. She's wanting a fall or a winter.
So we've got at least one more year of Jaxon dominating, and after the marriage, then he'll go back to normal.
Yeah. So after Norwalk, when we went to Bowling Green, that's the only race I lost this year in the Roadster, and I was like, I'm gonna have to take that ring back. I've won the first 3, and then I asked you to marry me, and now now I can't win a race. I may have to take it back. And she thought that was kind of funny, but she
make sure you take the trash out every night.
Well, with that, let's do our sponsor, and then we will be right back.
All right, see you in a little bit. Do you need an engine built right for your car? Take it from us. Call Performance Automotive in Bethel, Illinois. Whether it's a small block, big block, Chevy, Ford, or even a diesel. Call Mike or Gordon. These guys are guys that you can trust. That's Performance Automotive, and tell them Line Lock sent ya.
Thank you for that word from that sponsor there, Chris.
Yeah, man. You can check those guys out. They're really great.
Yeah, Performance Automotive. Fantastic group to work with. Yep. Yeah. All right.
Oh, hey, I'm going to start it off, man.
Mm-hmm.
Jaxon.
Yes, sir.
Do you cheat?
Yes, I do all the time.
So what are the main people? What are the main people, or what are the main things people are saying that you cheat on?
Well, the throttle stop.
The throttle stop.
When I made I think it was Norwalk. After Norwalk, I made a post on Facebook. I've always called it a throttle stop, my ET Genie. It's not. It's a restrictor plate.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, I don't know why I've always called it a throttle stop, but I do. So that's what I called it in my post.
Yeah.
Somebody took it to heart and made some emails, made some phone calls, and we showed up to St. Louis, and
I like the picture you put out there on Facebook. It's got right on the ET Genie. It says not a throttle stop. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
So they took your car apart, right? Is that what you said?
That was the race that Jason wasn't there.
So Indy or it was St. Louis, right?
Yeah, and he said, I just need you to take your front end off. I just need to make sure you ain't got a throttle stop. Okay, that's fine. I don't, because I raced Tony, the guy that was filling in for Jason there for a little bit. He runs the series local to us, OSCA, and I was just at his race a week ago. So he knew I wasn't, but he had to do it. And
yeah.
It's all good. There's no hard feelings about it, but now that they've opened that can of worms, I can't close it.
No,
I gotta keep it. I gotta keep it going, and people have said that I need to quit poking the bear. Well, no.
The t-shirts,
getting started.
The t-shirt thing was pretty damn awesome. I will say about the class thing.
So
that's another thing entirely we wanted to get into. So you actually have a rule against you now.
Yeah. So
tell us what happened there.
Yeah. So Leslie showed up. Well, let's just start back in. So after Indy, Papo had both his shoulder surgeries. I don't know what he had done, but it was major, and he couldn't get in and out of the car, 57. So he's always told me that nobody will drive that car besides him, because if somebody gets hurt, something's happened, he couldn't live with himself.
Sure.
Okay, no big deal. I understand. That's, me being his grandson, he didn't want anything to happen to me. So when he asked me to drive it, I was just, first of all, blown away that he even, wanted me to, and glad that he did, because I've always wanted to drive it. And, he said, just think about it and, let me know. And I was like, all right, I thought about it. I want to do it. It was like that, and so we got out the rule book for the NDRL and the California Heritage Series that the reunion follows. And there was nothing in there about double entry. So I called California, and they was like, yeah, we're good with it. I told them the situation. I was like, we got 2 cars, 1 driver, and 2 different tech cards, 2 different classes. They was like, yeah, that's fine. So NHRA said it was fine. So we showed up with both cars, and we won with both cars and pissed a lot of people off.
What was the complaint? Because I have an idea of what they were complaining about, and we addressed it in one of our podcasts, the double entry thing. I'm assuming I'm correct, but tell me what you kind of heard was the complaint of doing that.
Well, they thought that, it would slow the program down. It's not fair. Why does he get 2 hits at the tree, 2 hits at the track? Now, granted, we're in a blown alcohol door car versus a gas burning, naturally aspirated car, just totally different. But we won't even get into that, but it's just.
And I made those arguments when we talked about it. It's like it is 2 hits, but it's also not. It's 2 different cars, 2 different speeds, 2 different everything.
And if I don't care if I show up and somebody's had 100 passes at that track and I get 1, I will race them all day, any day. I don't care. Have as many passes as you want. That does not give anybody, in my opinion, an advantage over somebody that has half the number of runs. That's just my opinion. but some people don't see it that way. Some people are old school, and that's fine. Everybody's got their own opinion. But I just the biggest thing is they didn't want it to slow down the program, and we didn't. They never waited on us one time. We never held up anybody. I was always strapped in. Again, it was very hard. I would literally get out of my roadster and run to the staging lanes and get in that car. But we never held anybody up. We never missed a call.
Was there extra safety stuff you had to do to get into the faster car? Was there extra stuff you had to do?
No. So license-wise, it's 750. So 750 and slower, you don't have advanced DT. So license-wise, no. But in his car, you have to run a 15 suit and a Hans device, which I don't wear in my car. I just wear a 5 and a neck collar. Besides that, it's pretty much the same.
Okay.
Now, we watched you guys. I mean, we paid attention to you guys watching you go, from the finish line back up to the starting line and
zooming past us on the gator,
trying
to get
very,
up there.
Very impressive.
And I was starting Robbie every round. I started Robbie every round except the final.
Yeah.
So I was basically helping out with him and running 2 cars. We never missed a call. You were
running.
I couldn't have done it without all my family.
Do you think that it wouldn't have been such a big deal had you lost in one of them?
No, it wouldn't have, and they would just blown right over.
Yeah. That's well, and that's the thing. If rules aren't getting made about you, I mean, you obviously are some kind of legend in some ways. I mean, because when we talked about this the first time, obviously the arguments, you can make them about seeing the track several times, but the amount of effort and energy, not just having to run back and forth, but mentally to be able to go into 2 different programs and do that. To me, it's almost a disadvantage for both because, it's one of those jack of all trades and master of none situation. So I think everybody was impressed. And if you're not impressing people, I guess you're not making rules about it.
It was a very hard day. There at the end, I was literally getting in the car and almost falling asleep. We was just so worn out. My brother, he got heat exhaustion. We was just so tired. But it was worth it.
The picture that you have with both your cars on the starting line, and then all your family and stuff. That was too cool, man.
It was a good day.
Yeah, I'm looking to just try to get 1 car in a winter circle, and this son bitch over here has got 2 at one event.
It was a good day and good year for sure.
Well, definitely congratulations on that, and then obviously congratulations on your championship as well.
Yeah.
What does the future hold for you, Jaxon? Are you going to do anything different next year?
I don't know, honestly. I don't know. I've been asked that so many times. I've got a few different options. A lot of financial responsibility to go with a couple of those options, and I don't know that I can do it at this point in my life. I want to do it, but I'm 25 years old, and do I really need to be spending this kind of money in racing to go race for $1,500, $2,000, and I don't know.
The faster you go, the less that payout actually means anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And and the more the parts cost, and I don't know, that car, and in order for anything else to happen, that car would have to go somewhere else. I have to sell it, and I don't know that I can. It's been so good to me, and I'm so good in it, and we just click.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to find something else. So I don't know. I've got some decisions in the off season, but I really don't know what next year holds.
Well, you got several months to figure it out, and we look forward to seeing whatever you do. Yeah. I kind of want you in pro comp because I want to try to win some of my money back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he running in pro comp next year?
I think Nick's going to be running. If not the full season, at least most of them. I believe he's going to want to run some PDRA events because he's finally got his dragster back together, or got his motors, all that stuff. But we're kind of.
I like racing Nick. He's tough, and he's always tough, and I know that I've got to be on my A game when I race.
Yeah, well, and he's a stud too. Arguably, but you've gotten in his head, and the thing is once he beats you once, it's on. Because that's all it's going to take.
Anybody,
it's all it's going to take, and then it's that whole burden's off of him. But getting past it'll be a taken effort, and it'll probably, to be quite honest with you, it's going to have to probably be a mistake on your part, because every race that you two have been on that I've bet on, You have been stellar at the tree and on your number every time. You haven't made it.
And that's the thing, I'm just consistent. Like I said earlier, I'm beatable, but I'm consistent. You're gonna have to have a good run.
Your sub 20s reactions almost every sub 20s easy. And when you race Nick, and when you race Nick, it seems like you're always doing a double O.
Yeah. So my worst, I was looking back through my data from this year. My worst light all year was 49, and that was one time, and that was second round at Bowling Green. I don't know why I remember that, but I just do. And then got lucky. I was able to. I don't remember who I was racing, but he ran like a 06, so he left me plenty of room. But besides that, my worst light all year in that car was like a 31.
Yeah.
I'm 001 to 31 across 50 runs.
Yeah.
In a matter of 6 different tracks, it's just or 5 different
pretty
tracks.
Awesome.
Hey, I've had a couple good ones too. I had 2 349s in the red.
Yeah.
It's just, and that's all it is, just consistency.
Yeah.
You did good, man.
You got to be consistent.
And and like you're not lying. You're not. It's not that you're not beatable. It's just it seems like you're able to push aside any anxiety about that round, and you're one round at a time, and you're very consistent. And very good. It just you got a package there, and it's gonna be hard to beat you. But once you get that burden off your back, then I think Nick will be in your head a little bit.
No, I don't know about that.
Hoping.
I don't let people get in my head. I've got a few tricks up my sleeve that
I'm probably gonna be on your side of the line and say like a big sign that says Nick beat you last round or something. I'm gonna do whatever I can to keep getting my money back.
Funny. No, that'd be funny. Yeah, I don't like losing as much as anybody, but I still like to cut up with people, and that would be hilarious. If I lost and I've come around the corner at your trailer and you was holding that sign up, that would just make the loss so much.
Oh, it's going to happen.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get some mileage out of that one once it finally happens.
Yeah.
So you don't know this yet because the announcement happened in the podcast we just recorded, but we mentioned to it a little while ago that we've kind of built a team, Blood Brothers Racing team. It's going to be me, Chris, Bill, and Nick. And Vern, and even though Sam doesn't know this, he's an honorary team member regardless. But what we plan on doing, it's not going to be this year, but the following year, we're going to get some people in the 7.0 and 750 class. Our idea behind it is we want a little Hatfield and McCoy situation. So you got the Friels against the Blood Brothers type of thing.
Yeah.
And try to pump that up a little bit for fun.
Yeah.
So we're tempting to do something similar to that, and we're excited to start pursuing it a little bit. And Nick, we've kind of convinced to go 7.0, but we got to find a car for him and get that done. And again, he wants to run PDRA at least one more time, chase that championship.
Yeah.
So, but that'll be cool. Do you got anything else you'd like to say? You want to give some opportunity to talk about your sponsors or socials?
Just my grandparents. They do a lot for me, Nana and Papa. They do a lot for our whole family, and mom and dad. Riley, my fiance, gotta thank her. She'll come barging in here, and Trevor, he helps a lot. My brother, Bo, he helps a lot too with the throttle stop and just kind of general knowledge. I didn't even mean to do that. It's like that's it's just what I've always called it. Robbie and Pat, Frills, and all they do for me, and there's just so many people. We when we come to the track, we bring so much knowledge, and so much expertise that we just, I don't want to say we know everything, but man, we've seen a lot, and even in my 25 years of life, just I'm so blessed to be where I'm at and, be around the people that I have. And
every time I drive by your all's pits, you usually all pit together.
Oh, yeah.
I feel a little bit smarter. So I don't know if you've noticed this, but I've made rounds around there several times, just trying to gather some knowledge up before I get in my truck. But man, you guys really kill it, not only on the track because you're all very competitive, and you had 3 of the 5. Championships.
That's the only 3 classes we filled a car in full time.
I know that. I mean, that's awesome. Yeah. So, and if you fielded a car in the other 2, you probably have gotten those. Made a whole Friels. That ain't gonna be always how it's going to be, because we're going to be start coming in hot, all right? But to have that, you kill it, right? But the amount of like real sportsmanship that you guys show everyone is obviously noticed and appreciated, and I can't thank you, because you've taught me a lot of stuff, and the whole Friels family. They're amazing people, and I don't think I would be where I'm at. We were kind of we made a little joke, and I guess I got to restate it. But Chris said that the Pat Friels has helped him by proxy because he helped me. So it's almost like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but he's 3 degrees Pat Friels. I thought it was a pretty good joke.
But yeah, I mean, we want to beat everybody just as much as everybody else, but we would never do anything wrong. We'd never cheat. If we got to cheat to win, we ain't even going to show up.
Right. But let's just say there is gray areas that everybody's got to be in. Everybody's got to be in. If you're not in the gray area, you're not trying hard enough. And that was a discussion we've had prior to.
But there's gray areas, and I found a couple this year, 1 or 2, and there's no longer that gray area.
Yeah, because every time you go too far in the gray, they end up making a Jaxon rule.
Yeah, that's right. But hey, if what am I here for?
That's right.
We're all having fun.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Takes a lot of people off, but we had a lot of fun doing it.
100%. Man, it's really nice talking to you. And I think before the beginning of next year, we're gonna probably holler at you again when you're a little closer and make a decision about what you're going to do, because that's going to give us insight of what we need to do to beat you.
Is that right?
We're going to get the inside knowledge, is what I'm saying.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I probably won't know what I do till I let my back door down at Indy.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe that's. Hey, I'll be honest with you. If I was you, I wouldn't tell anybody and just let them find out the first race. But we're going to call you up and try to pry it out of you.
Yeah, that's fine. Look forward to hearing from you guys. We'll talk again for sure.
Thank you, Jaxon.
Thanks, Jaxon.
I appreciate it.
Y'all have a good night.
You too, man. See you. All right. That was awesome. It's a great interview with one of the great performers there in the NDRL, Nostalgia Drag Racing League. So it's been a pleasure to have him talking to us.
Yeah, fantastic.
So, hey, would you rather pull $100 out of a dirty toilet or $5 out of your pocket? And when I say dirty toilet, it is rank.
I don't know. $100 really ain't that much money.
This is true.
If people have known where my pockets have been, it's probably just as dirty a lot of times. So, to be honest with you, if I look at my bank account right now, I'm going for $100.
Yeah,
because it's pretty low. I just bought some new rims and tires for my truck, and they are not cheap. My wife saw them, and she was like, "How much those things cost?" I said, "You don't want to know." And she goes, "No, I really want to know." I said, "No, you don't want to know."
No.
I ended up having to tell her, and the look on her face she wasn't happy about it.
No, there's nothing cheap about this sport.
No. And we were just talking rims and tires. It actually wasn't even the tires. The tires he threw in for free because he didn't want to unmount them from the double B lock, which should be pretty easy, but he just wanted to get rid of the whole thing. Yeah. And I got those for free. I get to use them as mock-ups if I wanted, but still. Nonetheless, I think I'm going to go for the $100, Chris.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fair.
You could always wash your hands. My hands have been in much dirtier places and with things anyway.
Yeah. Well, hey, we got a couple of viewer comments that we want to discuss real quick. One of the things was on one of our other episodes we talked about, someone had asked about driver's license and stuff, and Lenny351 commented, first of all, he says, the Christmas ornament is really nice, and just a reminder, give us an email with your address. We'll send you one of those. He's already gotten it, so we do send them out.
If you're watching on the video, here's the Christmas ornament.
Yeah.
Make sure you email us at linelockedpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah. And so he also says, and also, unless the rules have changed with the NHRA, you have to have a valid driver's license, state-issued driver's license. I had a buddy that got a moving violation and was not allowed to race. I guess OMVI, I don't know what that means, but he was not allowed to race because he didn't have a valid license. So I can tell you that I've never been asked for a valid one.
Yeah, me neither.
And so I think they just assume that you have them if you look old like us.
You keep grouping me in with you, Chris. You trying to make yourself younger and be older.
Also, Fast Eddie 560, we were talking about the Hans devices, and you were talking about how you can't move your head side to side.
Yeah, so the way they strap in, they got two mounts on the side of your helmet, and it keeps your head from being able to go forward, right?
Yeah.
I would have assumed that you couldn't turn your head. He says that's not the truth.
Yeah, he says the Hans is definitely cumbersome to get on inside of his altered car, but it actually didn't restrict his ability to turn his head as much as he thought it would. He's not a fan of it, though. He would much rather just use the neck collar.
Well, my neck collar won't even stay on because everything else is so bulky. So I've got to get a Hans device. Well, I mean, everybody that's going 150 or above or 749. And that brings me up to another thing. In the last podcast, we talked about this. I said I couldn't figure out how you could run under 150 miles an hour and still run 749. I think I figured it out in my head. I don't know if this is the truth, but if you have a really, really light car, you could technically probably get to a 750 time and under 150. I think, because it doesn't. Like I said in that podcast, I didn't understand how you could go. Some of the ET rules they make sure because turbo guys mile per hour faster than they ET.
Well, if you start off the line at 150 miles an hour from point A to point B at 150, you might make it down there at 7.5.
Well, and maybe, man, I don't know. Maybe roll racing has something, but NHRA doesn't have a roll racing division, so that's got nothing to do with it. I don't know, but that was my thought. Tell me down below, is there any way to make it to 750 in the quarter at less than 150 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Please, somebody tell me.
It doesn't really make a lot of sense. Oh, anyways.
All right. Again, not last time. You got. We're gonna probably do some more time, but Christmas ornament. Email us if you want one. linelockpodcast@gmail.com. We almost screwed up every time.
Yeah.
All right. Everything else good?
Everything is good, and I had a great time tonight.
Me too. We really appreciate it, Jaxon. It was really awesome for you to come on. Still waiting on Robbie to email us.
Yeah, and we got another guest coming too that's not Robbie. Robbie, as soon as he emails us and talks to us, we'll get him scheduled, but we have another one coming up.
We got tons of guests coming.
Yes.
So it's going to be a really fun-packed time. Make sure you're subscribed to the Blood Brothers Racing channel for now. Eventually, we'll move everything over to whatever in Line Locked, but right now, we're just the visual part is on the Blood Brothers Racing YouTube channel. So
you can also go to linelocked.com to get it to the website and hear episodes there, and linelockedpodcast@gmail.com. So I am Chris, and we are out, and this is
Corey,
and we are out.
Not yet, because we got to be line locked.
We almost got that.
We've got to come up with a time.
A timer or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Take care, guys.
See ya.